Okay, so this is a concept that I have for a movie. Should turn into a script and screenplay. There are three main characters. There's one older guy who has a large house, a rural house. And there he has either an old wife who's kind of cookie, or it could be an old aged father who is kind of cookie, or it could be an elder brother who is kind of cookie. So he has a cookie relative. Basically, a cookie superstitious relative, very cranky sort of person, and it's a dark village house. And the thing about this house is maybe it feels haunted, or it feels like a place for a human sacrifice. It feels like a place waiting for something bad to happen, and more or less in the shape of a human sacrifice. Okay, the whole theme should suggest that a human sacrifice is going to be performed in this place, and without being very explicit about it, the characters should discuss. That is, either the aged cranky father or brother or wife or whoever, mother even, can have a discussion with the main guy. Now the main guy who lives in this village house is really a city dweller. He goes and lives in the big city, somewhere like Mumbai or Pune. And he has some employees. He runs a small office. He could have a business, could be advertising or marketing, something like that. And he has he has several employees. And he seems to pick two employees, two young people, and they become his favorites. These two young people kind of become his right hand and left hand. And then he slowly starts suggesting that they should come with him over a weekend to his house. Now, because we have put it into the head of the audience that this guy intends a human sacrifice, I want a slow sense of horror to build up. Those two people, they may not be very enthusiastic about going to their boss's house. Maybe he shows them some old photos. Maybe he tells them about his old wife or mother or whoever. He says, oh, my mom will be very happy to meet you, or my father will be very happy to meet you. Something like that. And he keeps dropping hints that he wants to take them home. It slowly builds up to a point where he schedules something, and then he, for some reason, usually a superstitious reason I should think, it is he wanted to take them on a weekend which was an Amavasya or a full moon or something like that. Or some festival, ominous sounding festival like Naraka Chaturdashi, some such thing. So he keeps wanting to take them home keeps postponing, the tension builds. One of the two young people are very enthusiastic, but one of them is also skeptical, doesn't like the boss too much. And finally the day comes when he gets them all into his car. There is a driver, so the boss is sitting in the front seat. Now you can change permutation combinations of the seats just to build tension. Okay, you can build sexual tension if you like by having him sit in the back with the female employee, and maybe he keeps glancing at her thigh or something like that. So you can build sexual tension and a sense of generally not being very happy with the situation. You can build anxiety. And at some point, he drops off his driver. Maybe, they are driving from Mumbai and then he drops off the driver in Pune and then they proceed to their village house where the boss himself is driving. And the boss himself is driving and he is generally not a very good driver. He is not a very good driver. There are a couple of near misses. He is not paying attention to the road. He goes through a very deep pothole, really ruins the suspension. Khadang! So really shakes everybody up and everyone feels like we nearly died back there. Something like that. So there is an incident on the road. So they desert the car. They leave the car there and this guy is very disorganized about it because the driver was not there. He didn't know what to do. He calls the driver. He tells him to take care of it. And then they proceed. So, but then here and there, there will be a couple of flashback scenes where it is almost going to seem like, did he plan this? Did he actually plan to hurt the car? Did he plan to have them get down in this spot which is slightly wilderness, slightly not a clear kind of a place, not a good place? Okay, did he plan it? Has he been planning it? So then he does something suspicious, like he tells the male employee to go somewhere, basically leave him alone with the female employee. So basically cause a situation where everybody feels very uncomfortable. There's a lot of discomfort. And this guy has been sometimes bringing up the topic of human sacrifices and justifying human sacrifice. Okay, he's been, dropping broad hints. He's been, it's not messing with their minds, but it is like his intention. It looks like it's his intention, and his intention keeps peeping out from time to time. Just a little bit. It's almost like he says something inadvertently that comes out of him. And then he becomes very cautious. If someone asks him to clarify, and both the employees are becoming increasingly uncomfortable and even anxious and even wanting to go home. And at one point, because the car has broken down and all that, the female employee says, "Sir, I will take a bus and I'll go home." there is a bus stand and they are standing at the bus stand, and there is a bus coming back to Mumbai from there, and she says, "Sir, I don't know, this whole journey, it's not been feeling good, and I don't feel good about all this, and I want to go home, and I'll take the bus and I'll go home," and she wants to board that bus. And this guy becomes extremely desperate. Okay, he physically blocks her. Until now he was acting like the boss. But at this point, he acts very desperate. He acts like, like he's got a crush on her or something weird. It's a very weird vibe. He acts extremely desperate. He loses all his equilibrium. And everybody is shaken by this. Everybody is rattled by why he is so. But in a moment of weakness, you're almost hoping that she will take the bus. She will get onto the bus. You're hoping for it. And she doesn't get onto the bus. So, they are still going. Okay, then he takes them to a lodge. That night they stay in a lodge. Okay, and he books independent rooms for them. But then he keeps coming out, and the kind of rooms he books for them is almost like they are prisoners. Okay, or he doesn't want them to feel like they are prisoners. But he does weird shit like he takes the outermost room or he takes the ground floor room and he says things like, just a little bit, like it comes out of it, pops out of it. "Sir, why are you taking this room?" "Well, I will know if you guys are leaving. It will, I want to know if you guys are leaving and you are leaving me. And I'll be able to stop you." Some shit like that. He says some very uncomfortable sounding things. Just a little bit. Okay. And then these two, the boy and the girl, are communicating and they're having a conversation. Right now, the boy and the girl, or the young employees, man and woman. Okay, it could be two guys also for that matter, just saying. Depends on how we build the script. So, the boy and the girl are kind of uncomfortable. They are having a conversation. They are speculating about what he is, who he is, why he does what he does, why he said what he said, and they actually make plans to run away and leave in the dead of night. And things like that, and they do leave in the dead of night. Now there is a twist in the story, and I am building there is one twist. Till now, it looked like the old man is an absolute villain. Okay, which we are building towards. But the thing is, the young man was also not a very Siddha guy. He was kind of looking weird from time to time. He was kind of, you got this feeling that he doesn't have integrity. And you want to cause some amount of little bit breadcrumbs of little things like saying weird stuff. He's been slapped in the office by a couple of girls for doing weird things. Even this girl maybe slaps him on the face for, I don't know, maybe trying to touch her inappropriately. Something like that. So little bit, I want to throw some mud on this guy, little bit, breadcrumbs. And now what happens is, in the dead of night, in the night, they are trying to run away. And this moment happens when they are disappearing into the dark. Oh yeah, maybe one thing that I want this guy to do, the young chap, is he is nursing a hidden weapon, a knife. Okay? And he shows it to her. And he says, I can protect us. I can protect both of us. I know that I can protect us both. Something like that. And she's like, no, don't do anything crazy with the knife and stuff like that. So you created a situation where there might be a skirmish. And maybe he had even shown the knife to the boss. Maybe he had even shown it. A very ornate thing, very, very ornate, ancient kind of a thing. Okay? And actually, we can even build a little bit of mythology around it, or a little bit of mystique around it, about the knife. Like, it's this ancient looking thing. It is this evil looking thing. It kind of demands, it's a bloodthirsty knife. It's a knife with a thirst for human blood. Like, it wants to go into someone's chest or belly. Okay, little bit of that, and little bit of the old man had been guided by whispers by this knife. Okay, we could build this as a third angle. So there is this fetish knife. Actually, it was the old man's knife, and the young chap kept looking at it. He was drawn to it. He had seen it. He had seen the old man packing it in his luggage, and he had wanted to steal it, and he stole it. At that day, he took the opportunity that night while carrying the old man's luggage, and he stole it. Now, when they are running away into the darkness, okay, they are running on a thin road, trying to get to a highway where they can get a bus back to town. And the old man suddenly comes running after them. He chases them. Okay, he physically chases them. He runs after them in the darkness. It should be a terrifying sort of a scene where he's like, come back, where are you going? Don't go, come back. Sometimes it sounds, there is a kind of pathetic note to it. He's pleading. Sometimes it sounds menacing. So it causes a lot of emotional confusion in the person who's listening and watching. There's a lot of emotional confusion as to whether you have to feel pity for this old guy, or you have to feel that he is menacing them. Like, you have to sometimes think like these two people are a bit cruel, and he is misunderstood. And the poor fellow really wants to take them home for a feast, or something like that. And he feels like a loser. He's a lonely old man. Something along those lines. So you give him some amount of that, and then sometimes it looks like the desperation is something else. It's the desperation of, the predator for the prey. Something along those lines. So we can cause a lot of emotional confusion here. which I think can be quite terrifying. And even she has second thoughts and they argue. Sometimes she feels sympathy for the guy, or the other guy feels sympathy for the guy, and he actually holds her back and he's like, stop, let us stop making the old man run. The old man will die from a heart attack. Okay, like, stop, don't. And the old man is looking in a terrible shape. He's running with a ragged breath. His eyes are rolling. He's desperate. He really looks like he's going to have a heart attack. So at some point, because they are kind of struggling against one another and they are in sight of the highway, they are seeing the buses come and go at a distance, maybe half a kilometer distance. They are running on this dark road surrounded by forest, and suddenly the old guy, or it's not suddenly, it's gradually, the old guy has caught up with them. So the old guy has caught up with them, and then there is, he's holding on to them and he's begging and he's pleading and he's sometimes angry, and there is a skirmish. Now the young chap was carrying the knife. The old guy grabs for the knife. The young guy stabs him. The old man falls wounded. The woman is in a complete panic. What have you done? How could you do this? Huge panic. There's blood everywhere. Even her hands are bloodied. His hands are bloody. The other guy, it's a mess. It's a huge mess. And the old man, he isn't dead yet. He's gurgling. The blood is gurgling. Maybe you can have him, the knife slashed across his throat. So you can have this terrifying, gurgling of blood. The man is still mobile. He's gasping, reaching out, trying to talk, all that. And you have this situation where I think it is the girl takes the knife and finishes him off. Absolutely finishes him. Now, the girl should come across as someone very delicate, skinny even, not at all capable of doing something rash. She is the potential victim. She always looks like the victim. She doesn't look like the perpetrator. And suddenly, she has taken the knife and decisively killed the old man. The old man is dead. Okay? And then you have this kind of a change of weather. Okay? Like the clouds going across the dark skies of Amavasya. Or something. There's a change of weather. Okay? And in the village house, you have a kind of a sigh of relief. In the village house, whoever is there, this old man's father or wife or mother or whoever it was, is actually rejoicing. And what they are saying is, they are saying something like, blood has been found, the debt has been paid, blood has been taken, something like that. the debt has been paid. So they start rejoicing, or they start acting like, like someone was waiting in a drought for the rain to fall, and then the rain falls. The first raindrops fall on their face. We can even do that. They're standing out there in the yard, in the courtyard of the house, and raindrops fall down on their faces. Raindrops fall down on their faces, actually. Okay. And they're looking, and they're both very, whoever is there, like it could be one old man in the house, or it could be two aged people, okay, like father and elder brother of this guy, whoever it was, and they are rejoicing, they are happy. It's like raindrops are falling on their face, and they are standing in the courtyard and dancing. Okay. Now, I would say this is where it is interval. Here it is interval. Now this is the interval point. This is the middle of the story. So at the interval, we see that it is like raindrops falling on the faces of the crazy old people in the village house. It could be one person, crazy mother or crazy father or crazy brother or someone. Okay, crazy, superstitious. And there is a shift in the weather. The shift in the weather is where these young two employees are there. They are disposing of the body in a rather messy way, wiping the blood off with wet leaves and stuff like that, and it starts raining on them. They look up, large raindrops falling on their faces. The weather has changed, and it doesn't look like the weather has become gloomier. It's not like a bad change in the weather. It's actually kind of like a good change in the weather. It becomes a happy change in the weather. It's like a debt has been paid off. Something cursed, a curse has been removed, kind of a vibe is what I want to have. Okay, so there is this change in the weather, and the same change in the weather is there in the village house, and that old man looks up and raindrops falling on his face, and he feels he mumbles something like the debt has been paid, it seems. The blood has been washed, it seems. Aisa kuch, something like that. He mumbles something. It could be, he could mumble in Marathi, he could mumble in Kannada, he could mumble in any language, vernacular. Okay, but then the vernacular should be understandable to the audience. So he says something. Now these two, having messily disposed of the old man, the boss, okay, they may have half buried him, or they may have thrown him into a well or a shallow pit or into the river or something, anything. It could be something messy, not well thought out, not properly concealed, causing tension, causing worry, like these guys are going to get found out. But it is sufficiently far away from the road. Like, why would it attract anybody's attention? Since it is in a by road, forested area, they have thrown it down a slope. So it is resting, the body is resting maybe 50 feet, 70 feet, 100 feet away from the road. No reason for it to be discovered just like that. That's the point we are making. Now these two, what do they do? Okay, this guy had struck the first blow. The girl had decisively killed the boss. And now they proceed to go to the village house. Now, why do they proceed to go to the village house? There is a lot of emotional confusion and logical confusion there. They actually start thinking, maybe we should just go home. What should we do now? Like, where should we go? Was the question. Now, because everybody is using mobile phones, they figure that if they turned back from this point and went home to Mumbai, then the device tracking or the location would exactly show the point at which they turned back. And if the tracking location shows the point at which they turned back, that will be like a confession that they have bumped him off and they got rid of him here. And then what will they do when they go back to Mumbai? Because everybody in the office knew that they are going to go to the boss's house. So one way or another, they say that to cover their tracks, the only thing they can do is to go to the boss's house. So they pick up the phone, they pick up the luggage of the boss. There isn't too much. The phone. Now, what to do with a knife again? One of the panicky thoughts was to dispose of the knife. Now remember, this is not just any old knife. This is a very ornate, very heritage kind of an item. Okay. It has this very valuable look about it. So it's not something that you might want to just throw away. So what these guys do is they wipe the knife clean. You can actually show this guy going to a dhaba or some place like that and washing the knife under a dirty tap, plastic tap, washing away the blood stains, meticulously washing the handle, using the very cheap gaudy pink soap fluid to wash that exquisite knife in the very dingy, dirty light of this dhaba with dhaba music playing in the background. Okay, and then they order something, chicken fry or something like that. They sit down and eat and discuss what to do next over there. And they go back to the hotel and they take all the belongings of this old man, settle the bill, or maybe the bill was already paid in advance or something, we can figure that out. And they proceed to go to that guy's house. Now they are thinking, what is the story they will concoct? Because they know there's going to be someone there. Maybe he had talked about his elder brother or his mother or someone. So they are thinking, what is the story to be told? How to cover their tracks? And so they come up with a story. Something like so they enter with all his luggage and all that, and they ask where they should put his luggage. Okay. And the old man says, you put it in his room. So they put the luggage in that place. Okay. And the knife also is put in along with that, because they figured that it's his property, so it's going to be noticed. So they put it there, and we can again build a little spookiness around the knife. Little whispering noises, sounds like, it sounds as if, the house is welcoming the knife home. Something like that. The old man goes, looks for the knife, he finds it there. Old man means this guy's father or elder brother or something. Or the old woman, the mother, goes and looks for the knife and finds it, and she says, "Haan beta, tu aa gaya." Now she says to the knife, "Haan beta, tu aa gaya." Okay? So the knife has now returned home, and she welcomes these two, and their whatever story they told. Sometimes she looks, now the light, the village house should be a typical village house, poorly lit, and she looks intensely. So there are power failures. You can have electricity, but you can have frequent power failures. Power goes off every now and then, and you have this frequent darkness where they light a candle. So whenever something significant is being said and this guy tells a lie, usually it is the male employee who tells more lies. The female employee generally keeps quiet. Whenever he tells a lie, the light goes off. The power goes off. Okay. And then they light the candle, and the old woman peers at him very closely and like, "Beta, tu kya bol raha hai?" And asks for details. And then he proceeds to concoct a very detailed web of lies. And again the candle goes off. And she relights the candles. And he says, "But there is no wind." Oh, she says, "There is a wind. ये घर में तो हवाएं चलती रहती है. खिड़कियां खुली हो या बंद हो, whatever it is, ये घर में हवाएं तो चलती ही रहती है." And then he basically, the story that they make up about this thing, and she's an old lady, she's a forgetful lady. Okay, I'll make her a lady for the time being. Okay, like it is the old man's mother. So she has this very shrewd look about her. She looks very intently. She looks like she knows it all. She knows everything. At the same time, she's very forgetful. She seems to forget. She seems to remember in spurts. The conversation doesn't. So she asks a question, for example, कि वो कहाँ गया? So she is referring to her son. And he is not with you. Why is he not with you? So they come up with a story. They said that he was talking about this Ishtadevta Mandir, and he was going to go to the Mandir, and then he is going to come. So she said, "Haan, to he should have come by now. Why has he not come?" Now, this young man says, "Should I go and look? Should I go to the Ishtadevta Mandir and search?" And she says, no, don't do that. Don't do that. He will come. Don't worry, he will come. तुम यहाँ पर बैठो, आराम से बैठो. He will come. So, and then she kind of forgets about it, and again, she has a kind of a blank stare after a while, and maybe you can even have her slightly blind with cataract, or cataract in one eye or something like that, to give that glazed grey eye look, and she looks and she's again forgetting, and she's asking, "Mera beta kahan gaya?" Now they keep trying to hold on to the story, but when they, she kind of keeps making them repeat the story every now and then, "Mera beta kahan gaya? Mera beta kahan gaya?" And sometimes she looks like a feeble old lady. She looks like a crazy, feeble, shuffling old lady with a weak, quavering voice. Okay, I would visualize her as slightly stout, like a short lady who's maybe weighing 70 kilos, 80 kilos, walks slowly with a huff puff, and she asks usually in a weak voice, "Mera beta kahan gaya?" But once in a while, the voice comes out surprisingly strong. She asks, "Mera beta kahan gaya?" and this guy doesn't reply. And she says, "Suna nahi, mera beta kahan gaya?" And the voice comes out surprisingly harsh, surprisingly loud. And this guy is shocked. And he says, "Maji, ये आपको क्या हो रहा है?" And she just has this fit of cough and all. And then, it's a bit of a scare. They wonder whether she's going to die. Actually, it is kind of convenient for them if she just goes and dies. It is really convenient for them if she dies. Because one person who can tell the story is not there. The one person who will be able to call them out on their lies has passed away. So that is the intention. It's not the intention that is there initially, but gradually in the mind of the girl, the intention is forming. The idea is forming that if she were to die, if she were to just pass away conveniently, then everything would be okay. Their problem would be solved. Because they are now afraid that she will at some point get uncomfortable and go and call the police. In fact, at some point, so what happens is, she says, "Mera beta kahan gaya?" and he has elaborately told a story, and then he has contradicted himself a couple of times. Like first he said that he was with us, and then we got down from the bus. Then he said, "I am going to the temple." And she says, "Yes, but then he has to take another bus." And he says, "Yes, he told me that. He said he's going to take another bus." But then she says, then he should have gotten off at an earlier stop and taken the bus. So you should have a rickety, ST bus kind of a scene where these guys are riding on a bus. And one more thing is, these people buy 3 tickets. Okay, they manage to buy 3 tickets by telling something to the conductor, like, "Mera ticket kho gaya" and all, and they buy 3 tickets. So they manage to buy 3 tickets. Okay, they are carrying 3 tickets with them. So they are able to, they actually show her the 3 bus tickets and to show that he was with us. Okay. And when we got down from the bus stand, now when they got down from the bus stand, it should be kind of dull, gloomy weather, village bus stand, that sort of thing. And then these people keep contradicting themselves. So she keeps saying, "Mera beta kahan gaya?" And they don't know for sure whether she is suspicious or whether she is just a rambling old woman who keeps losing her memory. Okay, you have to keep it ambiguous in that. Now, the suspense really builds. It looks as if she is really going to out them. Then they themselves say, "We will go to the police. हम जाके पुलिस में रिपोर्ट लिखवाएंगे." Okay, and शी सेज नहीं बेटा, उसकी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो आएगा, वो हमेशा आता है, वो ज़रूर आएगा, you know, things like that. And which again gets you spooked, because what does she mean by वो ज़रूर आएगा, वो आता है, वो ज़रूर आएगा and all that, you know. So you can get spooked about those things also, about the guy returning, and you can do a couple of jump scares where it looks as if someone like him is coming back in the darkness, someone with his gait, someone with his look, but it isn't him, and he just passes by, and these people heave a sigh of relief. So there is that. Now there is the phone, there is the mobile phone. All of them, this is unlike most of the stories, ghost stories which happen in a time without mobile phones. This is a time where you have phones, laptop, everything. So there is his phone, there is the laptop, and the phone has recordings. Okay, there are they go into the call data recording. Now they check what the call data recording says, and they want to know what there is an old phone in that house, landline phone, old one, and they want to know the phone number, because they want to know he made a call. There is a landline call showing in that phone. Now they don't know whether that landline call is actually from that landline number or to that landline number, line number. Okay, so whether he had called her or whether he had called someone else who was third party, not important. And who is the third party who is not important, whom he had called on the eve? So they want to know. So they keep asking her the phone number. And she keeps telling them a phone number, and the girl dials the phone with the phone number, and it doesn't come out. So they keep asking her the phone number. Finally, what they do is they take that phone, and uske andar jo number hai, the last number that they had called, she dials that number, which the old lady hasn't told her. And there is this piercingly loud, ring kind of a ringtone. Very loud, unpleasantly loud. It's a jump scare kind of thing in that semi-dark house. And the old lady goes and picks up the phone. Now this girl cuts the phone. She has cut the phone already. But the old lady has gone and picked up the phone. And then the old lady does something which absolutely freezes their blood. She talks as if she's talking to her son. She talks exactly as if she's talking to her son, listening to her son. And then she says, he said he is late in coming, but don't worry, he will come tomorrow morning. Oh, he is coming tomorrow morning. And she, it's just like she was hearing his voice. And not only that, even these guys can hear a male voice, and that is their boss's voice on the other end of the phone. Absolutely freezes their blood. They don't know how to respond to that. And they ask, उसने किधर से फोन किया था? And she replies, अरे वो तो हमेशा अपने मोबाइल से फोन करता है, but the mobile is with them. So then they go and check on the mobile in the dark light of that house. They check on the mobile and they find there is actually an outgoing call from that phone, and it was of that same duration. You can actually show the duration on an old wall clock, grandfather clock, or a big old clock. So she kept going for about 3-4 minutes, and they were watching the clock nervously, like how can she keep going on a phone which is clearly not on, but then how can it be? So at the exact same time when she had made that outgoing call from her phone, this girl had made the outgoing call from her phone, the boss's phone also shows an outgoing call. And now both of these people are absolutely nervous. So then you have a very suspense-filled night where she said, these people are like, माजी वो कितने बजे आएंगे? वो सुबह 9 बजे आएंगे. वो सुबह 9 बजे आएंगे. So these people are in an absolute, they keep talking through the night. 6 बजते हैं, 7 बजते हैं, morning. She gets into a leisurely mode of making tea and all that. It feeds them a traditional breakfast and all that. And these guys just don't know what to do next. They are in a complete panic. And this girl goes inside and calls the young fellow, her colleague, inside in one of those dark, dingy, small village rooms and says, listen, I really say we should finish her off and leave immediately. We should not stay here. I don't want to stay here. And the old lady, although they seem to be very far from her, the old lady shouts and says from her kitchen, अरे तुम लोग क्या घुसुर पुसुर बात करते हो? ये घर में दीवालों को के भी कान हैं. Now absolute panic breaks out. The girl comes up from behind the old lady. There is a brief struggle. Chokes her out, stifles her. She's lying there with her grey eyes wide open, looking straight up. They are very spooked out by those grey, slightly opaque eyes, cataracty eyes. It turns out that the girl has killed. Okay, the girl who's the timid, meek, thin girl actually kills the old woman also. And then they again go and conceal the body in the garden. It's a large tota type garden. Coconut leaves, coconut fronds. There is a shallow well. So again, they do a really bad job of concealing the whole thing. And then they leave the phone over here. We could have them stab the old lady with the knife also, just to make very sure, that they have killed her, confirmed killed. So the knife again, second round, is used and washed and kept in its place. Okay? And last scene is they are going back to Mumbai in the bus, and they're saying, what will I say? What will we say? And we'll say, yeah, we were there overnight and then we left early and all that. So he was still there. His phone is still there. There is a call from his phone also. And then they're just scared. And they're coming back to Mumbai. And they come back to Mumbai. And they go to their houses. And the last scene is there is a call from their boss's phone on the girl's mobile. Repeated calling from the boss's phone to the girl's mobile. She keeps cutting it. It keeps coming back. She keeps cutting it. It keeps coming back. And she doesn't know what to do. And that's where it ends. Now we are keeping it open for a sequel, naturally. But this is where the story ends. The movie ends.